Well, the reason I lost my internet connection was because we just had a slight or a brief power outage. And I'm guessing that's screwed with a bunch of stuff. So, I'm basically starting a new stream. I don't know how the hell I'm going to save this once it's done, but anyway, I'm still here. I did not get struck by lightning, but apparently a power transformer somewhere nearby did get struck. And it's only it's only a matter of time if you've got a thunderstorm hanging over your head for an hour and a half. It's safe to say that eventually something like that is going to happen. So I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to have with this connection, but let me see if I can try to wrap this up in relatively short order here. So where did we leave off?
This is traffic and weather next. WBBM News Time 10:37. Happy Independence Day.
Did it actually pick up where the old one left off? Because that would actually be quite useful. Because I don't have enough experience with this player, so I don't know if that's actually, in fact, what happens. But if that is the case, that's actually really useful. Visit tomsprice.com for directions and store hours. All store. Alright, so I got at least one person watching. That's encouraging. Let's see. Why don't we take a couple of minutes and see how many people find their way back to this thing, and then we'll pick up from here. I'm gonna go refill on my beer, and I'll be right back. A drunken live stream. I bet you could I bet you could write a #1 hit song titled that. That was quite a flash of lightning outside just now. All right, we better get this over with, because I don't know how my connection is gonna.
It was open July 4th.
How it's gonna hold up here. So we left off. This is 94 eastbound, and we are on the lower level, or level 1 out of 4 for the zoo interchange, which is what we're gonna pass through right now. So let's do that.
I am in 2nd grade. Explore your solar options. Learn more at ComEd.com/solar. ComEd, powering lives.
These flyovers for the zoo interchange are not as impressive. They're not as tall as the ones on the Marquette interchange a few miles east of here, but they're still quite neat to pass beneath.
Selection of brand new Ram pickups at $14,000 off MSRP. That's ShermanDodge.com. In Crestwood, the Speedway on Cicero and Midlothian, selling gas for $2.99 a gallon. And in Arlington Heights, the Marathon at Wilkie and Campbell has gas for $3.05. If you see a low gas price, please give us a call. 409-GASS. WBBM News Time 1038. Traffic and weather together on the 8 Sears Beau Durant.
Not a lot of stress on the roads right now. The Egan's all clear both directions. The Kennedy inbound, a minor issue. Report of a crash in the express lanes at North Avenue. It's 33 minutes from O'Hare to downtown. 19 in from the junction. The locals 12 in the express lanes in with that reported crash in the express at North Avenue. Outbound, a crash into the lane at Randolph. The left lane's blocked. It's 17 minutes out to Montrose, 30 out to O'Hare. Eisenhower inbound was 40 from Route 390, 23 from Manheim to outbound delays. Stevenson in just 33 minutes from 355 to Lake.
Now, if you're traveling 94 eastbound from the west and you're approaching Milwaukee, you'll pass through the Zoo Interchange, which is what we just passed through. In a couple of miles, we'll pass by the stadium. And then a couple miles beyond that is the Marquette Interchange as you enter the downtown area.
Between breaks in US 30 because of ongoing construction. No problems in or out of Northwest Indiana. Get traffic and weather together on the 8th every 10 minutes on News Radio 780 and 105.9 FM.
WBBM AccuWeather, a mix of clouds and sun, quite warm but humid for the balance of the day, with a shower or thunderstorm in the area into the early evening hours, high 87, then drying out overnight with 70. Tomorrow will be very warm and humid for Independence Day with some sun, and also a shower or thunderstorm in a high of 88. Mid-80s on Friday with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm. Then on Saturday, look for some showers and a thunderstorm with a high 77. Right now, it's 81 at O'Hare, 82 at Midway, and 75 at the lakefront. I'm AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg on Chicago's weather station, Radio 780 at 105.9 FM.
On Wall Street, in what will be a shortened trading day, the Dow is up 106 points. The NASDAQ is up 46, and the S&P is up 17. WBBM News Time 1040, now Eye on Veterans. CBS Eye on Veterans, presented by Progressive Insurance. There's a new college course at Syracuse University that has one goal: to get vets involved in politics.
The idea is to energize veterans at all kinds of levels to participate in political life. That could be...
So this is the stadium interchange. It's the one major interchange in the city that has not yet received a major makeover since its construction. This interchange still has a number of left-hand exits and entrances completely opposite of the right-hand entrances and exits. So there's a lot of moving parts here. There's a lot of weaving that goes on here, and if you actually look at a map of traffic conditions in Milwaukee, the chances are that the first spot that will become congested during the day, during any given rush hour, is right here through the stadium interchange.
Presented by the Village of Bedford Park, those shoes that Nike now says it won't sell, the ones with the old U.S. flag on it, those shoes technically could have been illegal. We'll talk about that on today's Business Hour. A city in the U.S. Southeast is making a change in celebrations.
Charlottesville, Virginia used to celebrate April 13th as the birthday of Thomas Jefferson. No more. The City Council has voted to end that practice. It will instead mark March 3rd as Liberation and Freedom Day. March 3rd is the day U.S. Army forces arrived in Charlottesville in 1865. This is part of Charlottesville's challenge to tell its history of race and discrimination that only intensified after the 2017 white nationalist rally that turned deadly and resulted in the name Charlottesville being known around the world. Mike Michigan, CBS News.
We'll get a check of your top trending stories next. WBBM News Time 1043.
Repair, remodel, renovate with Mega Pro City. Home repair or improvements answered fast and friendly by a pro. One Mega call does it all. Call 847-658-8989 or go to megapros.com. That's megapros.com.
A man carry Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram exclusive just announced with Chrysler Capital 0%.
All right. And that video ends right before we reach downtown.
5.9 FM.
AccuWeather forecast for today, very warm and humid with intervals of clouds and sun.
I mentioned that I had an Interstate 794 preview hanging out there, so let's show you that right now. This is definitely my favorite drive in southeastern Wisconsin, so perhaps it's not a coincidence that I saved it for last. This freeway, by the way, has easily the most spectacular view of the city of Milwaukee. It also features the Hone Bridge, which is the signature span of the city, even though it's a bit of an ugly and clumsy looking structure if you looked at it from the street level. But anyway, here we go. The interstate begins here, and from here to its terminus at I-94, it is completely elevated for its entire length. So, enjoy the view. There's not a whole lot to this bridge. It's a simple arch over the harbor. I do like the color of it. It's a golden yellow color. Reminds me of the bridges in Pittsburgh. This ain't a bad view of the city right here. So at this point, the freeway takes a hard turn to the left. If you were to follow the freeway that was meant to be built along the lakefront, you would have continued straight at that point to follow the inner loop northward. But we're going to turn west onto the other remaining section of the inner loop that was ever built. And again, this is an elevated section of freeway. As we approach the Marquette Interchange from the east, and this is where the interstate comes to its western terminus. There aren't that many significant differences between the Interstate 794 and the State Highway 794. The most glaring difference would be the presence of a single traffic light for northbound traffic at the Oklahoma Street exit, because traffic from southbound Lake Parkway has to turn left at grade, so they put a traffic light in at that point. However, the traffic signal does not apply to through traffic heading south, so technically it's limited access for southbounders for its entire length, but it's not limited access for northbound because you're subjected to a stoppage at a traffic light for this left-hand turn movement at Oklahoma. So that's the biggest impediment towards it being a full freeway. Other than that, it has the same full-width shoulders, full-width lanes that you would expect on a normal freeway. However, because of the presence of the traffic light, it is posted with a speed limit of 50. So it's not, as I said, worthy of being considered for the interstate system. I suppose you could consider it, it is similar to what you would find on Route 9 in Connecticut. Yeah, it does remind me a bit of that. In fact, you know what?
Grand Cherokees, limited, overland.
Let's back up a few miles and I'll show you the Lake Parkway. And we'll make this the last video premiere or preview of tonight. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in and bearing with me through the technical or the internet connection problems that we had. You know, Mother Nature is really giving me quite a display of fireworks right now with lightning. So I better end this stream while I'm still doing okay. I'm going to leave you with these views of the Lake Parkway, which is State Highway 794, south of Milwaukee, and we will end this stream here. Keep an eye out on the home page for future live streams. Obviously, there's the Road Meet stream next Saturday that's going to go ahead. And, you know, keep an eye out for future webinars that will focus on Chicago and other places that I may travel to in addition.
WBBM News Time 3:45 with searching for all cooling needs. Search ABC Plumbing, Sewer, Heating, Cooling, and Electric. Our new time for sports sponsored by Spot Hero. Here's Jeff Joniak.
So as we close tonight, yeah, you'll notice how there's an interchange right here. So there's no issue here with anything. It's a nice little tunnel right here. The sign on the left there that was just in the trees is marking the city limits of Milwaukee, which we just crossed into. I suppose if this was a full interstate, you would have a Jersey barrier in the median instead of a curb. And here is the one traffic signal on Lake Parkway.
The young 15-year-old Coco Gauff does it again, follows up her win over Venus Williams, and victorious today over Magdalena Ribaricova, and that moves her into round 3, as does Simona.
Yeah, I've had a severe storm over me the last 2 hours. It's amazing I've had an internet connection as consistently as I've had. I've only lost it once. So anyway, that's Lake Parkway. The interstate continues beyond, and we've already seen that. So I am going to wrap this up right now. Thank you all very much for watching. That basically concludes our coverage and preview of what I was up to in Wisconsin in early July. Look forward to bringing this stuff to you on YouTube eventually, whenever that may happen. As I said, as we get later into the fall, we'll figure out exactly what we're doing. But until then, that's what you have to look forward to. So thank you all for watching again, bearing with me. And I look forward to bringing you my next webinar in the series, whenever that may happen. Till then, take care, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will talk to you soon. Take it easy.